Part 2. Azure Moon. Harpstring Moon. The King's Triumphant Return. Following the death of Rodrigue, Dmitri begins to question his desire for revenge. His troubled mind turns to the kingdom capital and how he might end the chaos plaguing Fargus once and for all.
Our victory at Drondr was certainly a turning point for us. However, Rodrigue's death has been difficult to bear. We've lost considerable military strength and resources.
Unfortunately, with things as they are now, I don't think House Gautier has any resources to spare.
I'm sorry. I really wish we could help. If only House Galatea had anything to give.
If we split up the soldiers currently defending the monastery, we should have sufficient numbers to invade the Empire. But even then...
Your Highness, you should be resting. Your wounds are still healing.
I am well, I assure you. More importantly, may I have a moment of your time? Thank you. I wish to apologize to all of you. I have led you down this dark path with me, and have caused so much suffering along the way. I cannot tell you how sorry I am for my behavior. There is no apology I could offer that would be sufficient.
And how do you intend to make up for my father's death?
Felix, I realize words alone are not enough to repent, but I fear they are all I have.
I'm not after more empty words. I want you to speak through your actions.
I know that no amount of regret can ever bring back the lives we have lost. I know that well. It is like patching up a tear with a different material. Things can never be as they were. The best I can hope for is to make things whole again. I wish to do the right thing from now on. That is why I have made a decision. I intend to take back the kingdom capital. I wish to save our people, those who I turned my back on for far too long, to follow my heart and do the right thing. That is the only way I can atone for my sins.
Your Highness. If we can win back Ferdinand, it will give us the advantage in our war against the Empire. As one who has served the royal family for ages, know that your words bring me great joy and pride. That said, I must point out that if we make for Ferdinand, the Emperor's head will slip further out of reach. Can you live with that?
I still hold hatred in my heart for her, and for the ones responsible for the tragedy. That I will carry with me until death. But my life is my own. It belongs to no one else, and it is high time that I started living for what I believe in. I will no longer allow the voices of the dead to bind me. This is something that I must do. No, something that I am choosing to do. I will accomplish my aim, even if it means risking my life to do so.
Understood, Your Highness. So, any objections?
You are correct. We cannot afford to die in vain by recklessly challenging the Empire.
I'm worried about Lady Rhea. But if this is the choice you've made, I support it.
I am at your command, Your Highness. I will follow you anywhere.
My sword is at your service, Your Highness.
I'll help too. The people in Ferdinand need us.
Fine, I'll help you, in my father's stead. But in return, you must win. You know that, don't you, Dmitri?
I do. and I swear on my father's lance that we will prevail.
Then it is decided. It seems this war council has much to discuss. Our next stop is Ferdiad, the kingdom capital, for the future of Fargus.
Hey there. Is this it? There you go. Come back anytime.
Hello there.
Welcome. Please come again.
Your Highness, you still have scars on your back. It does you no good to languish in pain. I will procure some medicine.
No, it is fine. Though they are still deep, these are from 9 years ago. They do not hurt any longer. Besides, it would be a shame if the scars I got from protecting you were to fade. I bear these scars proudly. It makes me think that it was worthwhile that someone like me survived.
To hear you say such things.
You say that I saved you. But do you know that you also saved me that day? If I had been unable to save anyone, I would have been the sole survivor. I would have had no reason to keep living. But I saved someone. Saved you. That and that alone has always been my crutch.
When I stood before those soldiers and their swords that day, I was prepared to die. But then, you suddenly appeared, and you shielded me. I knew then that a savior's hand could reach into even the deepest darkness. I still have not been able to repay that debt.
Have you not heard a word I've said? You have saved me in countless ways. 5 years ago, I did nothing but await my execution within my jail cell. Was it not you that saved me?
That was nothing more than my duty as your vassal.
Listen, Dedu, perhaps you consider me to be someone special, but I think the same of you. You are irreplaceable, cherished. So stop saying that we cannot be friends. Stop saying such awful things.
Please, do not look at me that way. You promised me you would build a kingdom that is proud to boast of Duscar blood. In this kingdom, where there is no distinction between the people of Duscar and the people of Fodlan, will I finally, without reservation, be able to call you my friend? Will I, Dimitri?
Dedu. Yes, you will call me your friend again and again, no matter how many hardships I must endure.
I will do all I can to bring about that world as well. To be your friend is what I have always wanted.
Is that so? I am glad to hear it.
But until that time, we must allow no harm to befall you. So please call upon me when you walk alone at night. And even when you go out in the day, please tell me where you are going and whom you are meeting.
In the end, I suppose there is no fixing your overprotectiveness, is there? I suppose I can live with that.
have a question for you. Answer quickly before my hand slips and I cut you in half.
Always so ominous. Well, what is it, Felix?
Sometimes you have an animal's face, contorted with anger and bloodlust. At other times, a man's with a friendly smile. Which is your true face?
Do not waste your breath on questions with such obvious answers. They are both the real me. My father, my friends, Glenn. They all meant a great deal to me. And they were all brutally slaughtered. I alone survived. If I do not shoulder the anguish and regret they must have felt, who will?
So that's how you justify your atrocities?
What do you mean?
I will fulfill my duty to the late king. My old man used to say that over and over like a mantra. How nauseating. No one seems to understand. The dead won't acknowledge your loyalty. They don't care. What a load of bunk it is, pretending to serve a corpse. You're serving your own ego.
You are wrong.
No, I'm not. The dead are dead. The living are living. You have to respect that boundary. If you keep stringing gravestones around your neck, you'll snap.
Even still, I cannot forget them, nor can I let them go.
Then keep those thoughts to yourself. If you're too weak to do that, abandon your throne. Become a gravekeeper.
Felix.
I'm not immune to emotion, you know. Far from it. I haven't gone a day without questioning why my father and brother had to die, while I survived. I'll bear this pain until the day I die, but I refuse to wallow in it. I have more important things to do than blubber for my whole life.
You know, Felix, you really are growing more and more like your brother. Always so sarcastic and constantly looking for a fight. But deep inside, more than anyone, you...
What are you getting at?
Oh, it's nothing. But allow me to thank you. Your perspective has opened my eyes.
Not my intention. I couldn't stand the pathetic look on your face, that's all.
I see. If you say so, then we will leave it at that.
Your Highness, sorry, I mean Dimitri, would you, do you want to train together today?
Ash, of course, I'm glad you asked. Meet me at the training ground this evening after we've finished our tasks for the day. I'll be waiting. And afterward, let's plan on dinner. We'll certainly have worked up an appetite.
Oh, yes, I suppose, I mean, sure, it'd be, that is, it would be my pleasure to dine with you. I mean,
Ash.
I'm sorry, Your Highness. I'm just no good at this. I'll do my best to improve.
Are you still worrying over what I said to you before?
I'm trying to do as you asked, but it's just completely against my nature.
Trust me, I understand the urge to show respect where it is due. However, that is not the case here. Yes, I was brought up in a different family and raised in a different way, but otherwise, you and I are the same.
That all makes sense, Your Highness. But I just can't bring myself to speak to you in such a casual way. Sure, when you get right down to it, royalty like you and common folk like me, we're all just people. But the common folk still rely on the nobility to keep the peace and to keep them safe. Commoners pay the price for that in taxes and respect. That's what Lenato says.
I suppose I can understand that point of view. But the flaw in your logic is that I am not officially the king just yet.
But that's not all there is to it. I also respect you as a person. You carry the weight of the whole kingdom on your shoulders. You're a faultless warrior, and you're always so kind to your allies, even me.
On all accounts, I can say the same of you. But you also have a strong heart. I can't say that about myself. No matter the circumstance, you are never drawn toward darkness. That mindset of yours has done me well on countless occasions.
Well, I do my best. So I guess mutual respect between us is what's really the most appropriate.
Precisely. Which means there's never any need to be nervous or uncomfortable around one another. It seems we may have circled back to where we started with this conversation, but let's at least agree that we both should learn to bend a bit. How's that sound?
All right. Let's start from the beginning then. Would you like to train with me today, Your Highness?
Of course, Ash. Come at me with everything you've got.
Your Highness? Why are you in my room?
Sorry, I need to hide in here, just for a while. I'll have you know this is all your fault.
Hide? From who? Is it the Empire?
No, it's a girl.
I'm sorry, it's a what?
This is all because of your insistence that I go and ask a girl out.
You didn't give her a dagger, did you? Is that why you're hiding? Does she have a dagger, Dimitri?
Look, you kept true to your promise to improve your behavior. So I felt it was only right to make good on my side of the bargain, too.
You invited a girl to dinner, and now she's chasing you around. What's the big deal? Unless... Did you use one of my pickup lines? Those words are dangerous in the wrong hands. With me, people know a line's a line and I'm joking. But you, nobody's ever accused you of being funny.
I clearly underestimated the difficulty of the task. But what do I do now?
Relax, Your Highness. Relax. I'll sort this whole thing out real easy. All we have to do is figure out how to make this girl lose interest in you. And making girls lose interest is what I'm best at. You just wait right there, and I'll fix everything.
It was my naivete that brought this about. I cannot place this immense burden on your shoulders.
This is no job for an amateur. You need a professional's help. Trying to do everything yourself has never served you so well, so just leave this to the master. Even the dagger incident could have been avoided if you had just talked with me beforehand.
There wasn't time for consultation. I only learned she was leaving on the day of her departure.
Whatever you say. The point is, you need to learn to rely on me for these types of things in the future. For now, I got this. And if I ever need help with something you know how to help with, then maybe you can do the same for me.
Sylvain. Very well. When that time comes, I promise to help you as best I can. A Knight of Fargus never goes back on his word. Isn't that right? You're a good man, Sylvain. I'm sorry to do this to you. Best of luck.
Please, Your Highness. I've spent years honing my skills for just this situation. Watch and learn.
You've been spending a lot of time at the training ground, Mercedes. As far as swordsmanship goes, you're like a whole new person.
Thank you. I have such a great time when you teach me that improving comes naturally.
It's all because of your own hard work. Compared to you,
You shouldn't be so disappointed in yourself. You're improving too. You just need to keep at it.
Well, I can hold a needle and thread without breaking anything now. That's something.
That's a big step. When we started, you couldn't even hold a pair of scissors without twisting them apart.
True. I'm sorry for being such a burden.
You're no bother at all. I like sewing with you. It reminds me of when I was young and my mother taught me how to sew. My mother would sit with my brother and me, and we'd all sew together. Ah, I really miss it. Even though I was barely better than you when I started. Did your mother like to sew, Dimitri?
My birth mother? From my father's accounts, she wasn't great at it either.
Oh, of course. I forgot that the Queen of Fargus passed away long ago.
Yes. I don't really remember what she was like. But I remember my stepmother, always sitting by the window sewing away.
I'm sure she would have been happy to teach you if you had asked.
She always looked so lonely when she was sewing. So unreachable. She was kind to me, yes, but when she was like that, it was hard to talk to her. I'm not certain she would have wished to teach me.
I'm so sorry, Dimitri. I didn't mean to bring up such difficult memories.
Don't worry about it. If I don't talk about those things sometimes, I'll risk forgetting them altogether. And that would truly be a shame.
I see.
But now I'm just going on and on about myself. Why don't you tell me more about you?
More about me? Oh, goodness. I don't even know what to say.
It's hard to think of something on the spot, isn't it? You could speak of your family, I suppose.
You want to know more about my family? On that topic, I'm happy to oblige. In fact, I'm so glad you asked. It's important to think about your past and share it every now and then. This might take a while, but would you be willing to stay and listen?
Of course. I will listen for as long as you wish.
Your Highness, I have one more favor to ask.
Is this about Gustav again? I have plenty more stories about him, but perhaps it is time for you to speak with him yourself.
Oh, it's not about Father this time. This time I wanted to ask about you.
About me?
I mean, I heard all about Father last time, but I didn't ask about you.
Ah, well, I'm afraid there is not much of interest for me to tell you.
Oh, it doesn't have to be funny or interesting. That's not why I'm asking. It's just that I thought I already knew you, but I'm not sure I really do. That day when we were reunited at the monastery, I didn't know what to say to you. So I wanted to prepare some of your favorite food. I thought maybe if you ate something that you liked, you'd cheer up a little. But when I got to the kitchen, I realized I didn't even know what you like to eat.
I see. Well, it's a little hard to say what my favorite is. I just don't really have any strong feelings about food. That said, you're pretty keen on sweet things, right, Annette?
Yes, that's right. I'm at my happiest when I'm digging into a sweet treat. Oh, did you know there's a famous sweet shop in the capital?
Yes. It often had long lines outside, didn't it? The castle guards often spoke of it.
The sweets were so good. They cost a fortune, but I loved them. When Father was still around, we all lived as a family in the capital. Since then, I've had them only a few times. How I'd love to taste them again.
Say, Annette, when this war is over, where will you go? I heard that you were close to Baron Dominic back in the academy days.
That's right. But that's not where I think I'd like to go when all of this is over. I reconnected with Father, so I'd like to live with my family again, in the capital. Also, if I'm in the capital, I'll be able to see you from time to time, right?
Ah, that settles it then. We'll have to get your father working twice as hard.
Father's at a ripe old age now. I'd appreciate it if you didn't work him too hard.
Oh, of course. I will keep that in mind.
Your Highness, I've come to apologize. I mismanaged my feelings and got carried away. I've been thinking about what might have made you say the things you did. I was so caught up in the moment, and in my own feelings, that I didn't think of what yours might be.
No, I should be the one to apologize. I did not intend to say such things. I lashed out like a child. You were right to rebuke me. I am disgusted by my own inability to express myself. Will you allow me to explain?
Of course.
At the tragedy of Duscur, I saw countless corpses. Of course, I saw his, too. Glenn's. Ingrid, I doubt you would have been able to see him. They were unable to bring his body back, after all. He must have died an agonizing death, full of pain and regret. That is what I saw in his face. In that wasteland, there were no beautiful, proud deaths that could have been written about in heroic tales. Not one. I do not want you to die a death like that. Not even for the sake of loyalty or duty.
A king must at times order his soldiers and knights to fight and die on his behalf. Their lives must be used for the greater good. And this is something any good king understands innately. Any king who doesn't allow people to die on his behalf is too soft to rule well.
You leave me little room for argument. Have I disappointed you?
No. I chose to serve you because of how you are. As your knight, I will stand by your side and uphold your soft-hearted ideals.
What has changed, Ingrid? You were so obstinate the other day.
I've realized that I haven't been facing a very important truth. Because of you, I can finally move on. Thank you.
Marianne?
Oh, yes?
May I sit here? There isn't another open spot.
You may.
I'm sorry. I should have eaten in my quarters. I know you asked me to stay away from you.
No, it's fine. About the other day, when you said you didn't regret risking your own life.
I apologize for whatever foolish thing I said to upset you, truly. But may I ask what happened?
It's just... there is only misfortune for anyone who comes near me.
Misfortune?
I'm afraid so. Especially those with complete disregard for their own safety.
Ah, so I didn't offend you. You're trying to tell me I should be more concerned for my own safety. Well, I suppose I could improve in that regard. As for you causing misfortune, I think that's far from the truth. In fact, I find you to be a lucky charm of sorts.
Me? Lucky? I'm sorry, but I don't agree with that at all. My entire life up until this point has been nothing but a string of unfortunate events.
But misfortune finds us all. Perhaps those around you have suffered or even perished. But look at you. You're still here, alive and well.
That's...
It doesn't feel good, does it? To be the one left behind? You feel guilt for not dying along with the others.
How did you know?
You and I are the same. Maybe you should fear being cursed with misfortune for coming near me. A smile and a laugh. Coming from you, that's a rarity. This must be my lucky day.
I just find the idea amusing. It's strange to think that someone like you could have anything in common with me.
Is it so terrible a thought?
No, it's not that. It actually makes me happy. As though there's finally someone who understands how I truly feel.
Gustav, it has been 8 years since I last called you by that name.
Your Highness, I must deeply apologize for leaving the kingdom without permission.
There is no need to explain, old friend. I can guess at your reasons. The tragedy of Duscur. You felt responsible for that incident and sought respite in the goddess, abandoning your name, rank, and homeland in repentance. Am I right?
I have no excuses to offer. It was all I could think to do.
I always knew you for a pious man, and I figured that if you were to leave, this is where you would end up. You have changed much. Your face does not have the same resolve it once did.
If I may, Your Highness, you have changed as well.
I can't disagree.
It was my duty to protect His Majesty, your father. Naturally, that also included Lady Patricia and yourself as well.
My father and mother are gone. no amount of regret will bring them back.
My dreams are haunted by the thought that had I arrived at Duscur more swiftly...
You saved my life at Duscur. I have only gratitude for you, no blame to speak of. I wish for you to remain in the kingdom, Gustav, even after this conflict is over. I need your strength to help rebuild the ravaged land that Fargus has become.
Please, I beg your forgiveness. But there is no place left for me in that land.
I see. Though much has changed, your stubbornness remains. I have no desire to trouble you. If you do not wish to return, that is your choice to make. But I do advise you to at least visit the place of your birth, if only for your family's sake.
Yes, Your Highness. Thank you. I appreciate your concern.
I did not expect to see you here, Happy. I get the feeling that you didn't come for training.
Listen up, Didi. I remembered something.
Remembered? Ah, does this have something to do with why you were staring at me earlier?
Not ringing any bells. I stare at people all the time. Anyway, do you know Anselma?
Anselma? Yes, of course. But how do you know that name? That is what my stepmother was called in the Empire. In the kingdom, she was called Patricia.
Oh, so that's what it was. I see now. What a relief. It was really sticking in my craw. Well, now that that's all settled, I'm off to bed.
Just one moment. You may understand, but I most certainly do not. How did you know my stepmother?
She used to visit all the time. I think she was friends with the lady who kidnapped me.
Friends? Are you sure?
I heard the lady helped bring her to the kingdom, but I don't really know the details. Anyway, when Anselma saw how I was being treated, she got angry, just like you. You remind me a lot of her, actually.
Are we really that much alike?
I'd say so. Come to think of it, you greet people in the same way, hold a book in the same way, you even get angry in the same way. It's uncanny.
I share no blood with my stepmother, but to hear you say that, it pleases me greatly. She was the one who raised me. I suppose it makes sense that we would share certain mannerisms. To think that the person you mentioned was my stepmother is baffling, to say the least.
What do you mean?
For all intents and purposes, my stepmother was completely cut off from the outside world. Suffice it to say, few knew that my father had taken a second wife.
Sounds complicated. I can keep my mouth shut if you like.
I would very much appreciate your silence on the matter. But thank you, truly, for all that you said. Truth be told, the union between my father and stepmother has given rise to much speculation. But for now, what's truly baffling me is the identity of that lady you mentioned. She welcomed my stepmother into the kingdom after she fled home due to political strife. No, I must stop this. It's time to put an end to this discussion. Baseless speculation will get me nowhere.
Oh, come on. I finally felt like I understood, and then you go and say something cryptic like that. If I can't sleep tonight, I'm blaming you.
Well, if that happens, come back here and I'll keep you company. I'll be training a while yet. I wonder, could Happy's captor truly be her?
Oh, this is delicious. I can't believe I made it.
Yes, you do have some talent.
What's the matter? Have I got something on my face?
No, Sylvain. Recently I've heard rumors about you.
Oh yeah? Which ones? Is it that I'm terrible to girls? Or the rumor where I bring terrible misfortune to the girls I date? I don't, by the way, in case you're about to ask. Oh, I also heard about how I'm total trash and everyone should avoid me. That might be my favorite.
Well, you don't lack for self-awareness.
The way I figure it, If I can't be respected, I can at least be well informed.
You are being described as indefensibly worthless.
Indefensibly? That's a bit harsh.
I already knew your reputation concerning women, but these new rumors deprive you of all redemption. I did try to correct them, but I doubt I was believed.
Well, thank you all the same. Listen, you don't need to worry what people think about me. As you well know, it's not easy to correct misunderstandings or change people's minds. And if I'm going to behave so badly, it seems misunderstandings are inevitable.
I could not be silent. You saw me as a person, rather than merely as someone from Duscur. I want you to be seen as a person, too.
I appreciate that, Dedu. You think the world will ever see us that way?
Maybe.
I can't tell if you're joking or not, but I like it.
Then we will get along.
I think I get it. So the Sky God got into an argument with the Earth God, then Duscur was created?
To oversimplify it somewhat, yes.
There's something so mysterious about it. There are only mountains separating us from Duscur, but it's like a completely different world. This has been so interesting. I've never learned so much about it before.
There are not many left to pass on the legends of Duscur.
Really? That's a shame. It's almost like when someone dies, or a family line ends. I think a place is only truly destroyed when there's no one left to remember it. You should tell more people about Duscur to keep it alive.
That is a strange thing to say.
Oh? Why do you think that?
Duscur is forever the enemy of Fargus. No one cares about our culture or history.
I'm different, though. I don't know anyone who was killed by the people of Duscur. I don't hold a grudge against you, and I never have. Dedu? Is this recipe from Duscur?
You don't care for it?
No. I was actually surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Would you teach me how to make it soon?
But it seems I am ever the teacher with you, and seldom the student.
You're right. I'm so sorry. I have an idea. My mother taught me to bake the perfect sweets to go with tea. Would you like to learn how to bake them? It's a secret Martritz family recipe that's been passed down for generations.
House Martritz of the Empire? I thought they were no more.
It's true. My father's family was wiped out in the Empire. I'm the last living descendant.
Are you certain you wish to impart such precious memories to me?
Of course. Now that my family's gone, I'm the only one who knows the secret. The sweets would vanish from Fodlan if something happened to me.
I see your point. Yes, I would like to learn.
Training on your own? You really do work hard.
I hate to break it to you, Sylvain, but there's nobody here for you to flirt with. So there's not much reason to hang around.
You're here, aren't you?
How ridiculous. Almost as ridiculous as your face.
You'd really say something like that to a handsome guy like me? I'm crushed. Joking aside, may I join you? I only came out here so I could train too.
Sure, just don't get in my way.
I've been thinking about it, and I really depend on you. Maybe that's weird since I'm older than you, but still.
Hitting on me? Again? Have some dignity, would you?
No, I'm being honest. I thought you'd listen. Hey, I'd like it if you didn't get too far away from me on the battlefield, okay? Just stay where I can see you.
I'll stay as long as I can. You're useless without me, after all.
What? No, I'm saying if there's one thing I can do on the battlefield, it's keep you safe.
Whatever helps you feel better. Stay and protect me, then. I couldn't bear it if you went off and died on me while I wasn't around.
I'm pretty sure that's my line.
It's getting late. We'd better head out.
You're right. I'm exhausted anyway.
You haven't been practicing enough. All that time you waste chasing after women would be better spent training. I'll train with you anytime, so just... What's that strange look for?
Well, you're going to think I'm being a jerk or hitting on you or whatever. When we're side by side like this, training, I feel, I don't know, oddly at ease.
I know what you mean. It's probably because we've been friends for so long.
That must be it. Let's never change. Friends forever?
Absolutely. No matter what happens, we'll always be friends, Sylvain.
Sounds fun! Let me show you my cooking talent. A little more secret spice, and... hey!
What? What? Hey.
I must ask you. That...
Professor.
Thank you. We
Wish us luck.
that was
Intuition's...
that worked out well.
There must be more.
I'm starting to get it.
It seems my
Professor.
I'll keep my voice. This is. Thank you so much.
War is an effect.
How best?
Seems simple enough.
I think I've got. I didn't even know I.
Very well then.
I've really got.
I'm finding my.